Welcome back. Great to see you. This week, the topic is the fundamentals, the great fundamentals of truth and principle and practice that all of the great ones have constantly reminded all of us mere mortals to return to. The great ones have left breadcrumbs that we can follow that take us in the direction that we're supposed to go. So today's great principle is, it's a beautiful word, the word fountain. Do you think the word fountain is a beautiful word? I think it is. I grew up in Orange County in Southern California. There was a town called Fountain Valley. What a beautiful name for a town. So we all like the idea of fountains, don't we? We put them in public places, large expressions of moving water that are shooting up and out in a variety of creative and beautiful shapes. And people just generally like to gather around those, don't they? They sit around them, they go and eat their lunch. Maybe at some point in your past, there's been a fountain that you really liked, or there's one that you like now. It's down at the Civic Center, or it was at university for you, or it was someplace that you could go and gather. And you know what else there is at a fountain? There's that sound of moving water. There's that sound, that rushing sort of low rumble of moving water that draws all of us. It's such a natural magnetic draw for all of us to be around moving water, and especially water that's shooting up and arcing out into a variety of shapes. And it's making that deep, whooshing, powerful, effervescent, carbonated sound of life. And we are deeply drawn to that. Now, that's a physical fountain. That's a fountain made of concrete and water. And those are beautiful things. And yet there's a fountain that's truly infinitely deeper than that. And it's erupting with an essence that is even deeper than any material substrate, deeper than water, deeper than gross air. It's the positive essence of being itself. And so many world scriptures have spoken of this great fountain that runs directly through us. And I could go on and on about the various places in the world scripture where it speaks of the fountain or the river or the shooting water or the effervescent essence of life force that's shooting up and through us. And so the great fundamental, the great principle that we're remembering in this first week of the year is the fountain of meditation. Now, you're meditating, you just got done. Good for you. Now, that's no small thing. It's no small thing that we get up in the morning and we put ourselves in a position, we go sit down by the fountain of life and we let ourselves be washed clean with it. Now, there are seven of us in this group today, and that's a beautiful thing. It's a committed, dynamic group of friends, of like-minded friends. And our group today is exactly the right size. But many people have tried it, and many people have wandered away. This is not a judgment or a criticism in any way, shape, or form. People are always moving, and there's no shortage of fountains. And when you've found one, oftentimes you go find another fountain because it's there's always a new one. There's always a larger one. But the fact that we get together and we gather by this fountain, what does this fountain do for us? Well, this deeper essence that we're receiving, it's immeasurable, the benefit it gives to us. It washes us clean. It cleans out the residue of yesterday. It helps to wash away the emotional accretion or accumulation of all the different impressions and dents that are left in our soul. We well know that our brains are made of, even though the brain is a relatively compact thing, it is made of enormous, staggering number of folds. these folds are beautiful things that allows us to store data and information and impressions. And isn't it wonderful when those data and those impressions are beautiful? But if they are toxic, if they're dysfunctional, if they are dark, then they're in there. And all the great yogis, all the mystics, all the great saints, they've talked about meditation as the fountain that cauterizes and burns away, washes away the residue, the accretion, the accumulation of the darkness and what's no longer needed inside of us. I'm all for keeping all the best of us, but we all know that there's vast tracts within us that can be cleansed and washed away. And every time we meditate, that happens to us every single time. And we may not feel it, but as a great yogi once said, every day in meditation, as many as 10 million cells, neurons, can be washed clean and disconnected from negative patterns of perception and made to be free to connect in wonderful, bright, brilliant new patterns. And this, of course, is the change of consciousness that we're seeking. And as we discussed yesterday, if you were here, by right of consciousness, when our consciousness changes, the world that we look at changes. When you change the way you look at things, the things we look at change. Now, that sounds kind of like a meek, weak, banal spiritual platitude that you might see on a Hallmark card in a New Age store in Marin, but that's Max Planck. He was one of the greatest physicists of the 20th century, 1910, 1920. He was very good friends with Albert Einstein, and that's what he said. He began to understand that consciousness is this great substrate of being, and that when we clean up our consciousness, we look at a different world. And most of the people in the world are trying to make the world look better without cleaning up their own consciousness first. And that, I'm reminding my own self, is the greatest futility that any human can engage in. And yet we all do it. We're all constitutionally lazy. We're habitual creatures in our mortal selves. But when we meditate, we respond to the angels of our higher nature. We tap into this fountain every single day. And it's not just in the morning. Throughout all the day, we can pause in any given moment. And we can breathe into that great fountain that's available to those who find it. Those who seek it, find it. Those who don't. And that them's the rules. So enjoy your fountain today, my good friends. Thank you for sharing it with me. And it kind of reminds us of the little birds that gather in the fountain and splash all around and have the greatest time singing and delighting in this great refreshment of being that's just saying, just jump in, enjoy it. And the kingdom of heaven is spread all around us, and yet most of us don't see. We're trying, and I'll see you tomorrow.